family lives on the Sandhills, and he's going to come up and talk about their ranch, their farm, and why he's working to stop this pipeline.
Thank you, Jane. You know, it's a tough act to follow, but as an old Sandhiller, it's pretty tough for me to get up here. I'm kind of out of place. All right, I feel a lot more comfortable out there on a horse or on a tractor seat than I do standing up here. But this really concerns me. My name is Robert Bernt, my wife Christine, and we have 12 children. We live in the Sandhills along the Cedar River, which is going to be affected by this thing. And it really moves me when I come in here and see the people here today. It just really moves me. I had an old friend of mine that said, birds of the feather fly together. And by God, you're the flock I want to fly with. What you're doing it makes me feel wonderful that there's people out there. Our family's going to suffer dramatically like everybody else, but it's really great to see this kind of a response. My family settled the Sandhills back before the 1900s during the Kincaid Act. We lived in those Sandhills, homesteaded those Sandhills, built what we've got from those Sandhills based on the Ogallala Aquifer and the Cedar River. This is an asset to this community that we just cannot afford to lose. In the 1930s, the only place that anything would grow in that valley was along the Cedar. It housed gardens for community people that could not eat and survive anywhere else. This is a survival mode. It was done, it was used, and it's got to continue to be that way for the future. As far as I would like to speak to three different groups of people. First of all, you for being so wonderful and so great, and the way you are is amazing. The other is our elected officials. It really concerns me deeply that when we elect people into an official position that will not listen to the way we are and what we need, they do not seem to be concerned that this could devastate our country, ruin our future, and destroy our families.
Amen.
They ignore this and go on. It scares me. I would like to see people in the state of Nebraska make a list, a red list and a blue list. Underneath the 10-by-sheet piece of paper, put down the list of the elected officials in red that are just absolutely not doing anything for us. And then a list in blue, the ones that are. And when our grandchildren ask us, well, Dad, why can't I go swimming in the river? Grandpa, tell me the stories about when you used to go down there to wash and bathe. I can answer them by saying that's the reason why. Those are the people responsible for what happened. That list.
Yeah.
TransCanada, in my book, is just a bully. They're just a big bully out there in the schoolyard, and that schoolyard is the Sandhills in Nebraska above the Ogallala. This old boy's been in a few of them scraps. All right? And there ain't too many of them that come out on the bottom. And I sure don't intend to come out on the bottom of this one.
Yeah.
These people have threatened you. They've manipulated you. They don't care if they walk on you, step on you, and now there's even lives being sacrificed to this miserable thing they want to transport through our state. We cannot allow that. Anybody that inconsiderate doesn't deserve to be anywhere near inside the boundaries of the state of Nebraska. I would like, my old football coach used to say, the best offense is a good defense. You know, after years gone by, I think about this, and I utilize this in a lot of things that I do. Back in the 1940s, they proposed a water project on the Cedar River that was going to consume every acre of our ground. My dad, my granddad, my uncles fought this thing for 40 years to stop it. It was the only damn proposal in the state of Nebraska that was rejected. And at that time they called us a bunch of activists, a bunch of crazies. You know, but we stopped it. Of the 5 proposals, that was the only one. It took 40 years to do it, but it was done. And that was because they stuck together, they held together, they put their guns, and they did it. And it can be done again. The defense that I would like to see done is anybody that lives on a 50-mile radius of that proposed line, needs to start documenting, and I want them to know that we're doing this. Documenting the flights that you see, the geese, the cranes, the bald eagles that move into that area on a monthly or on a yearly basis, the prairie dogs, the black-footed ferrets, the fish in the lakes, the fish in the rivers. Document now what you see, how many flights you see, how many fish you see dead. If you see none, please write it down. And then later, if this miserable thing does show, if later you see these things, this is going to be the best offense we have. This is just something that needs to be done. And last but not least, I'm sorry I'm taking too much time, Jane.
You're fine.
You know, but we have something to be thankful for. What we have was given to us to use, not abuse.
Yes.
Amen.
Woo! Amen.
We use this land to grow our families, to survive upon it, and if we choose to abuse it, we're going to be punished by the individual that give that right to us.
Yes, sir.
And it's not the governor of Nebraska.
No.
John Paul Getty said, "I've not yet begun to fight." And that's where I stand. Thank you.